central department store. Now imagine that we are standing on the eastern slope of the Mamayev Hill in the disposition of the 62nd Army of General Chuikov. Legendary tanks T-34. We can see here these were the best medium tanks on that period of war. Here we can see the commanding post of the 62nd Army and General Chuikov with field glasses. And here soldiers of the 62nd Army are preparing for the attack. For example, this is a medical point. Medical nurse helps wounded soldiers. This group of Soviet soldiers read the newspaper. They knew last news from the front line. And here we can see Soviet cannons. They are taking new positions. And this soldier, the signaler Matvey Putilov, he was sent to repair a broken cable. He managed to find the ends of the cable, but his arms were damaged, so he put the ends of the cable into his mouth and gripped them together with his teeth. So the communication was re-established, but this soldier died. Thanks to his heroic death, Soviet soldiers received a very important order, and the attack began. Now we are going to the next part of Panorama to see the attack itself. So the attack began. Here we can see Soviet soldiers of special storming groups. They are wearing in white camouflage. They have good arms, and they are taking German positions. Here we can see only dead German soldiers, destroyed Nazi tank on the first ground. All the sky in this part of Panorama is full with dark clouds. They covered this red-purple sun. And this is the darkest part of our panorama. Imagine that here the artists have depicted Nazi positions. The artists used dark colors to show us the interaction of to show us the struggle between two forces, good and evil, life and death. Here we can see the neglected Nazi cemetery, some crosses and helmets and dead German soldiers. But despite of these great losses, several enemy tanks are approaching Soviet positions. Soviet mariner Mikhail Panikaha caught 2 bottles with incendiary mixture, and he was going to throw them into this tank. But one of these bottles was crushed into his arms, so he got inflamed. But he continued advancing, and he managed to destroy this tank by the expense of his own life. This soldier died. 6 other German tanks went back in that fighting because it was an unusual, terrible situation. And the climax of the attack is growing, and hand-to-hand fighting began. Now we are going to the next part of Panorama, to see hand-to-hand fighting. So in this part of Panorama, we can see hand-to-hand fighting. Soviet soldiers used everything to annihilate the enemy. They used digging tools, grenades, bayonets. Imagine that at the end of November 1942, Germans were surrounded in Stalingrad, and during 2 months they were blocked in this encirclement. That period, Soviet soldiers tried to do their best to annihilate the enemy. Soviet pilots managed to destroy more than 1,000 German airplanes during 2 months. And here I'd like to show you only one of them, Milkos 87, a bomber. In the sky of Stalingrad, we can see this track of a fallen plane with red stars on its body. It's Soviet airplane Il-2. The pilot was Viktor Rogalsky, 19-year-old man. His plane got inflamed. He tried to escape, but at the last moment he took another decision. He aimed his blazing plane onto the column of fascist soldiers and fascist tanks on Earth. By the expense of his own life, he managed to kill some group of Nazi soldiers. This pilot was very young, only 19-year-old man. 16 Soviet pilots performed the same heroic death in the period of the Stalingrad battle. I'd like to show you some artistic details in this part of Panorama. Please look on this road. It begins on the relief construction, this part made of concrete, and it continues on the picture. This shell hole also consists of two parts. This one is depicted on the pictorial canvas, and this one made of concrete. But the real distance between the pictorial canvas and the relief construction is 2 meters. But we can't see the space thanks to the greatest work of Soviet painters. Now we are going to the next part of Panorama. This is the culminate moment of this picture. At the beginning of our excursion, I said about the date, the 26th of January 1943. Now we are going to see what happened that day. Now in this part of Panorama, the atmosphere has changed. Everything is in dynamics. The artist used bright colors. Here we can see the interaction of solid soldiers' troops. We can see different kinds of troops. For example, an infantry attack. Here we can see a commander with red flag and his soldiers. Soviet airplanes in the sky of Stalingrad. Soviet tanks. They are also supporting Soviet troops in the interaction. For example, this tank is depicted full length. This tank destroyed German cannon, and this tank continue advancing. Here we can see Soviet mariners. They are wearing an unusual uniform, black coats and special T-shirts with white and black stripes, called Tельняшка. Germans were very afraid of Soviet mariners. They called them Black Death. Here we can see volleys of a Soviet rocket missiles called Katyusha. They are also supporting the interaction in Stalingrad. On the horizon, we can see ruins of the metallurgical factory Redaktova. The territory of Stalingrad factories became a place of terrible fighting from October 1942, and only in January 1943, Soviet soldiers started to liberate that territory against the enemy. Please imagine that soldiers of the 62nd